Dark Satellite Media.
Anyway, hey, welcome to Red River Podcast, episode number 63, I think. Today we're going to, first of all, we got the group back together, you know. This is still quarantine time. We're all kind of doing our own thing until I don't know, probably till 2021, unfortunately.
You didn't get the Rage Against the Machine reunion you were hoping for this year, but you got this, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we got I wanted to do like the three of us, just like an in-house thing, and we all love the movie Dazed and Confused. So I figured let's watch it for the 100th time and pick apart some of our favorite things. And so Langan and Parker are in the house.
Yo, what's up?
What up, man?
How's Farmingdale?
Farmingdale is fucking still alive, man.
Still alive.
I lost him.
All right, maybe it's not doing that well. I don't know.
Yeah, still alive. Still alive. Then he hangs up on us.
It's still alive and fucking not kicking, I guess, you know?
The new record's almost done, right?
Yeah, it's done. It's coming out next Friday, actually.
Nice.
You guys have quite the build up.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is, like, 3 out of 4 of these songs were actually 3 of the first songs that we wrote, and then we just kept on writing. And then when we recorded the first EP, we were like, oh, we like these songs better because they're newer. And then they put those out, and then they were just like, all right, well, these songs are still pretty good, so let's release these. So that's what we're gonna do.
It's always about the new song. Always. It's
yeah.
Like, you're always blinded until like 10 years from now, you'll look back and you'll be like, oh, maybe those weren't the best songs.
I mean, you could definitely hear the progression from like how like the band got mature and like the influences started getting a little bit different. And I mean, Jeff's vocal style on this is completely different. So it took him, probably about a year and a half of busting his balls to start screaming. So when he finally gave it and did it.
Yeah, that's what I noticed on this. It's a little bit, definitely more of like the screamier botch side of things.
Yeah, it's definitely heavier. There's definitely a few little dabbles of black metal in there, which is pretty cool too. So we tried that on for size as well.
Langan approves.
Yeah.
What about the corpse?
I was about to say no corpse paint yet, but we're dipping our toe in, see how it feels,
But we're going to burn a church on Sunday.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, yes.
All right, so listen, 1993, Richard Linklater movie. We've seen this movie. I know I've seen this movie like 100 times, and for some reason, this is one of, I guess you could say, definitely a top 10 movie for me because I could watch it over and over again. It doesn't matter if I put it on, if it's in the beginning, the middle, the ending, the very ending. You just watch it. It's like checking in with certain characters that you almost feel like are your friends. So that's my relationship with the movie. I mean, I don't know if you want to, Brian, do you remember the first time you saw it, Langan?
I remember seeing it in the theater. And what struck me as great about it was, and now I'm even further removed, obviously, from my youth as I'm an older man now, but like it perfectly encapsulates, like, especially where I grew up in a small town and having the softball field or the beaches we hung out and picked places. It just perfectly summarized exactly what it was like growing up, even though it was a different time period, and how universal those certain concepts of youth and teenage and, is, no matter where you put it, if done right like this. And it just evokes a lot of memories, like of things I did and stuff, and those kind of nights you had with your friends in that time period of your life,
And there's still that so like in essence, it's just like the first night of like their summer vacation.
Mm-hmm.
You have almost like a dueling thing. So you have the men and the women. So you have, young boy Mitch Kramer,
Mm-hmm.
coming in with the older dudes, and then you have the other girl doing the same thing with the girl, and you have the nerd squad.
Mm-hmm.
You have like every group of
Everything's
people.
represented.
Everything's represented, but in a way that, like, let's say Can't Hardly Wait did, but not, Can't Hardly Wait did it in a very comical fashion. Dazed and Confused just seemed like a very normal, like at its core, it was like nothing happened really. It was just like this night and their lives, but somehow we still go back and like love this movie. And it's so simple and subtle with everything about it that it's a movie that I think you can watch 100 times and pick up something different, which I did the last time I watched it, and I'll bring it up later on. So, Parker, do you remember the first time you saw it?
Yeah.
Today?
I mean, with me, it was something simple, like, because the summer that it came out, I was actually going into my first dose of public school. Like up until 10th grade, I went to Catholic school from like nursery school on. So like the biggest thing that I took out of this, I was like, oh shit. I was like, now that I'm going to public school, I can like dress how these kids dress and act how these kids act. And I don't have to worry about, wearing a fucking, slacks and a fucking blazer and all that other fucking bullshit that I had to do for fucking so many years.
So you wore bell bottoms to school?
No bell bottoms, but I did have to get my uniform at fucking Low Bells in Sunrise Mall. Rest in peace. So,
all right, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I figured let's go down like 10 questions here, and then we'll save some of the good parts for the end. I wanted to first of all just jump right in and say favorite character of the movie. Super hard, because there's so many really good characters. So let's jump into it. Parker, who is your favorite character?
I had two. Not that it was a tie, but like my number two was Melvin. I just think he's fucking great in this movie. I mean, yeah, he's the lone black guy, the token black guy. But every time I just look at him, he's got such classic lines, and just gets along with everybody. But like number one, I had to go with Benny, who's played by Cole Hauser.
Really?
Yeah.
I just want to throw in there that, like, I guess Melvin really wasn't a token black guy, because he was definitely what he was. Like he was a representative of black culture. I mean, even when he danced for that split second, I was like, that brother is cutting up the back of that.
That's actually one of my favorite scenes too. For a later question, is when he's boogieing down over there.
Yeah, for sure. So like, I wouldn't consider him a token, but going to Benny's great.
Yeah, I think the thing that stuck with me with him was, when he first, first of all, he gets along with both sides. Like he's friends with like the jocks, he's friends with the potheads. Whereas like, Ben Affleck's character O'Banion, like he just hangs out with the jocks. Like he's always giving like, Slater a hard time and like the fucking nerds a hard time. But like the thing that I love about Cole Hauser's character is like the minute that he shows up at at Mitch's school and, does the whole, all right, you freshman fucks, like that just sets the tone of how his character is going to be the whole movie. Like he's a fucking hard ass, but yet he's, he hangs out with everybody.
Yeah, he's a great character. He's very strong, and even like the actor, I thought he did a really good job with him.
And his father was Wings Hauser of like 80s like scumbag fame too. Yeah,
you're telling me Wings Hauser is Cole Hauser's dad?
Fucking Vice Squad fame, yeah.
And like Transman, Wings Hauser, yeah, right. He was like Transman. Wings Hauser is
on
like
Beverly Hills 90210.
He's like the Brad Pitt.
He was, yeah.
He's like the Brad Pitt of B movies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
All right, Langan, your favorite character?
Wooderson.
Yeah.
I mean, just one of those legendary cinematic characters, It's an obvious choice, but talk about stealing a scene or chewing up scenery or whatever. I mean, this McConaughey just like destroys his character, and everything he says is interesting. Just great.
Yeah, same for me. So my favorite character is Wooderson. when he comes in, all eyes are on him. Whether he's saying the most profane thing with like the high school shit, or like even if he's just saying, "Hey man, watch the leather," like it's just so it's so ridiculous. But he, like, I don't know, maybe he was just meant to be this person, and the casting director that found him at that bar, also casted Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yes.
So he obviously knew what he was doing, and he saw something in him. I guess that's what a casting director does.
It's like Sean Penn's Spicoli, Wooderson is to this movie. It just leaps off. The character's just huge. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Only McConaughey still embraces Wooderson, and
yeah, exactly.
The other dude does not. So, all right. So moving forward. So second question, we're going to go least favorite character, Parker.
I got to go fucking Tony, man.
Who's Tony?
Gotta go Tony.
Who's Tony?
I gotta go Tony. Tony is the blonde-haired nerd kid. Yeah, and Anthony Rapp. Yeah, yeah. I like. He just complained. It's funny because
that's not Tony, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that
yeah, no, Tony. Yeah, Anthony Rapp is the actor's name with the glasses.
Yes.
Adventures in Babysitting.
It's a step. Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say I hate him in this, and I hate him also in Road Trip. But I loved him in Adventures in Babysitting. I just feel like he just fucking complains this entire fucking movie.
You know who else doesn't like him?
Who?
Kevin Spacey.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
That's his least favorite character too.
There you go.
He's definitely the Hannibal Buress of Kevin Spacey's career. But yeah, man, he's a fucking geek for sure.
Yeah.
Tony, wow! I forgot what his name was. That's how much. Like I just
did too, man.
Yeah,
I got him confused with the other blonde-haired kid that was Mitch's friend. That's Carl.
That was Carl. Yeah.
Carl, you dick.
Carl's mom comes out with the shotgun. So
yo, Carl's mom is the shit because she just like rolled up there and like
no hesitation.
Yeah.
Not even like, yo, what are you doing with my son? No. Came out with the gat.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna open it up and like I'm gonna put the shit to him and I'll ask questions later.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cops want to talk to me, they could ask me later and fucking.
Those were in the days you could do that.
Well, I'm sure in Texas you could still do that.
Shot.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Langan, least favorite.
Used to be Mitch, just for obvious like visual reasons. Very distracting how much he touches his nose and hair.
Yeah.
But it kind of works in a way because it's a kid with no acting experience that they put in there. He's supposed to be awkward. I think I could have done with a couple of the less nose touches, but this last rewatching, I decided Benny. Actually.
Really?
Oh man!
And the reason being is, did you guys see the deleted scenes at all?
Yes.
The extra scenes with that guy really change. Like he has that racist Korea Vietnam rant in the pickup truck.
Yes.
And then when they corner those kids to paddle them, which the homoeroticism of the paddling is so like I've never heard of such a thing. Like in hazing, like these guys really got into spanking other dudes' asses.
Yeah, right?
A couple of them, but he especially did. In one of the deleted scenes, they roll up on two kids, and it tells how and those two young kids gave up where Mitch was going to be that night at the baseball game, and they get a pass from one of the guys, but Benny like decides to give him the spanking anyway. And then he's got that glee, like O'Banion glee in it. Yeah. And seeing those scenes, I'm like, man, if they included that, this guy takes a whole new character.
He does take a whole new character.
He becomes a total evil asshole.
Yeah, totally.
When in reality, but if you just watch the film, it's like, I think I get the vibe like Parker was talking about it with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I forgot about that. Yeah, those deleted ones for sure.
We never lost the war.
Yeah.
Like he was like that guy. He wouldn't wear a mask if he was around today.
And what about that hazing? Like, has anyone in high school? I don't remember that hazing being like that.
I remember Animal House. Thank you, sir. May I have another? The college thing.
Yeah, that was 78.
High school. I don't know. Like I don't know.
I don't remember like ever hearing about until this movie, like chasing kids around with a paddle to paddle them, especially since the high school freshmen look like actual freshmen and the high school seniors look like they were like college fucking seniors.
40.
Yeah. Like Totally. That's why it looks so weird. It's like you have like Ben Affleck, who's like 40 in this movie, like paddling, Hirschfeld.
He can't wait
Yeah.
to like spank some boys' asses.
The guy got left back just to do it for a second year in a row. You know,
great line.
That is a great line.
Yeah.
My least favorite character is Mitch. He is obviously someone who was never in a movie before this, which sometimes it worked out. Like where Wooderson was concerned, Matthew McConaughey, it really worked. But Mitch and the girl that he ends up with later, the older Julie, I think her name is. Like they're both so not actors that it's almost
they both
like,
didn't continue.
No,
right?
they did.
Yeah. I know the girl became like an activist or something.
Yes,
and but he might have been a couple of things after. I think
he did a couple of things for Linklater, but I think
he always reminded me of Tully from Kids, except Tully Tully went into like an actual career. He had it, but like these unknowns or whatever that were. But
he was just. Maybe just because he looks so young, but I guess he was supposed to be ninth grade.
That's what I was wrestling with, because there is just there's an annoying distractedness of it. But then I'm like, maybe that's, he's really like a kid. That kid would be so awkward. In real life, like that awkward.
Yeah, I don't know, but Mitch all the way, and I. Man, I remember watching it, and that I would get anxiety during that face touching scene where he was like talking to that girl
at
like,
the Emporium.
Yeah. And I just it was like one of those times where like I remember when I would buy Haribo gummy bears. There was the old school bag used to have a gummy bear butt fucking another one, and no one knew this. And I would always buy this bag, and I'm like, how is this allowed? How is this allowed for like 10 years? And then 1 year, I bought a bag of gummy bears, and that thing was gone. So I feel like it took enough time for people to be like, why does this guy keep touching his fucking face? Like,
there's one face touch especially that bothers me when his sister comes over and says about taking it easy.
Yeah.
He does like a prolonged. It's the worst face touch in the film.
Yeah, that one I give a 10 to. Like the others,
he sold that one.
Yeah, the other like 7, 5. Like if we could just like judge like the face touches, but he by far my least fucking favorite character.
But Linklater was such a master. Like, he watched these things in post, like, and he was okay with that much face touching. So he knew, he had to know how distracting it was, but decided to keep it. So like, he's like, how much we got left in the budget for editing? All right, we'll leave it. Just leave it. He didn't like come to him after the shots, but I need more face touch. I need what I want to see out of you. Is I want to touch. Yeah, I want you to touch your face more.
Number 3. So for Parker, replace a character in the movie with yourself. Now this is an interesting thing because you could be replacing someone whose character you hate or someone whose character you like. Like you feel like you could make it better, or you just like his character so much that you want to be that character. Parker.
This was definitely a character that I liked, and I did Don. Who's kind of like, Randall Pink Floyd's, right-hand man in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good Don Dawson.
Only
later to be in Halloween. Oh, no, this was after.
This what? Yeah. Because Halloween was the last one that he was in.
Halloween 4 was like 88.
And then before this, he was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Mad eyebrows. Got bushy eyebrows.
Cops do it by the book, right? Is that the shirt that girl was wearing?
That's right. That's right.
Those titties, those tiny little titties.
Yeah, that chick was hot.
I mean, I don't know if she was hot, but like, she had hot things about her.
Yeah.
Okay, so Don for Parker, Langan.
This was easy. Kevin Pickford.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, why? Because Mila Jovovich?
Weed, hot chill girlfriend, dope car.
Didn't say much.
That's what more are you gonna ask for, man?
Yeah.
His parents were going away for the weekend. Well, that was a good feeling. I mean, it got snuffed out, but
Yeah, that guy delivering the keg of beer early. It's just
sick.
You know what I love?
That's his only flaw. He should have set that up better.
He should have. Yeah.
He should have really been on top of that.
Do you know anything about beer being delivered here? About a party later?
Although, this is pre-cell phone age. You can't track your beer delivery.
Yeah, no.
Keg delivery on the back of a pickup truck.
That guy did have a little thing he was working on for later on, so you know what I
mean. His mom was hot too. Kevin's mom.
For me, it's Don as well. it was always Don, and then I figured out like there was something that kind of like rubbed me in a weird way when they were doing the air raid, and they brought over that girl, and he's like, what would you do for me? And he makes her like open up her mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And then I thought about it. I was like, wait, so he's like a senior and she's like 14. I'm like, that feels so weird.
You
right?
can't go down the creep
I
path in this
know.
movie because Wooderson wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, he was straight up statutory,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but I guess that's how the 70s were.
Yeah. So at 15,
It was okay.
Yeah. Like I was 15 when I watched this. So like when he did that to that girl, she was only a year younger than me. And I was like,
And there was a deleted scene with the girls having a conversation outside the Emporium, or like the girl crew. And,
yes.
And a car pulled up. One of their other friends got out who was like dating some 35-year-old dude or whatever. And
was it Mike Damone?
Exactly. She lost her virginity to him and stuff. And it was commonplace, I guess, in this town for like older dudes.
Yeah.
And, like, that's a different subtext.
Yeah, we'll do that for the Fast Times later. But it was Don, and like what I like about Don, that at his core he was actually like a nice guy. He said something interesting at the party, and it was a rule that I lived by later in life, where he's like, "Yo, that Julie chick loves
I'm
you."
watching it right now. I'm literally up to that scene right now.
That Julie chick loves you, man. He's like, you can't let her know you like her, man. He's like, when she's like, do you want to go to the Moon Tower later? You're like, maybe. No, it's like, nah, but maybe. And if I do, I'll see you there. Whatever, however he explained it, like it was just something that's true. Like the more attention you give someone, whether it be male or female, it's, you don't want to give them too much, because like they'll be like, yeah, it just never worked out. And it's something that in life I realized, and seeing that when you like someone, you don't want to like pummel them over the head and be like, oh yeah, let's hang out all the time.
Turn them the other way.
Yeah, that's right. So I like that about Don, and he was a slob, but he was also cool to hang out with. And
what about the overalls?
Yeah.
You an overall fan?
No, that's offensive. that get up, I don't really understand what the fuck it was at all.
It was Texas though, right?
But even still, like what was that? And the overalls were banging at that time in the 90s though.
They made a comeback.
They made
sure.
it like the TLC video and all that other
Nice.
stuff.
Winona Ryder did a Rolling Stone cover with one strap.
One strap.
Undone.
Oh, you needed the one strap. Yeah, Tretch too. Naughty by Nature. Didn't he rock those two?
That's right.
And I like that Don was trying to bang the teacher because she was kind of hot. Jenny Stroud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just remember, this 4th of July, what you're celebrating is rich, aristocratic white men didn't want to pay their taxes.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of my favorite Periphery characters, which is something we'll talk about later.
Yes. So in this movie, we're gonna go behind the curtain now, and we're gonna talk about people that seem to have the most promise on the cast. Not the people that actually went on to do something, but who in this movie did you watch in '93 and you're like, oh, this person's gonna be a big star, Parker?
I honestly thought it was going to be Jason London. I thought the main character, was going to be this fucking huge star, good looking kid, and, had all this promise. And then obviously I was completely fucking wrong about that, because he really went nowhere after that. His brother didn't even do that good either.
Which one fell on real hard times?
I don't know.
One of them with the drugs.
It might have been the Mallrats
puffy
one.
Faces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that.
Didn't he end up?
Because he would figure, he was in this. Jason London was in this, but then his brother was the one in Mallrats. If I'm correct, right?
You're right. And
okay.
And I think he's the one that ended up on Bad Times. And
yes.
I'll just go on with you as well, and I'll say that same for me, Jason London. Like he actually, out of all of them in this movie, he played it the most straightforward. I feel like he was in a serious movie, or maybe he had the more serious role where he was contemplating, and he was just like kind of at a crossroads, and he's like, maybe we could just do better, just as good being in a band, or he was just kind of figuring out what to do. And I thought he did such a great job. He had that he played that 70s look so well, man. You could have told me that they went to a time machine and pulled him.
Yeah.
Like he had that hair, the
Everything.
pants,
yeah,
and like Parker said, because I can't say it, he said he was good looking, so I'll disagree. I'm way too manly to ever admit that. But all right, so Jason London for me too. Langan.
McConaughey.
McConaughey. Oh no, but so you even thought that at that time?
Yeah, I just that's how large that character is to me. Like it's not when a character that really like doesn't have, if you added up a lot of lines, compared to maybe Jason London or Mitch or whatever, that's not a focal point, but can like really steal a film to the point where he's the identifiable image and character of the film. Like that's that if you buy the T-shirt Dazed and Confused, he's probably on the T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? And he just pops like that character.
Do you know who was on his T-shirt?
I don't remember.
It was a Ted Nugent cover.
Nice.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Totally.
All right, so then that brings us to the next question, which is who actually had the biggest career afterwards in this movie? So Parker.
I would think that it's either got to be Matthew McConaughey or Ben Affleck,
Yeah, those are the two. Yep. Those are the two for sure. And whose work do you enjoy more, Parker?
Oh boy. Probably McConaughey.
You're a big Failure to Launch fan?
No, definitely not. But I don't know. I just feel like Affleck gets a little like I'm good with like School Ties like Affleck, but like I don't know, a lot of his shit I'm not really like. I'm like when he started doing like Batman and shit. Like I don't know, I didn't get that shit.
Affleck was in School Ties?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Wasn't that Brendan Fraser, Joe Pesci? Was it that movie? Was that?
No, that was fuck. What was that movie called? I think you're combining two movies. You're thinking of Joe Pesci when he
like
lived in like
dude.
he lived in like the fucking van and helped them with the pay. Oh fuck, what was that thing called?
School Ties?
No, School Ties was Brendan Fraser. He's the Jewish kid and he gets the scholarship. Fucking Cole Hauser was in that as well. There you go. See, fucking big loop right there.
It goes to show you, like, you make these friendships on these sets, and it's like, if you're in a position, you like any job, like your friend can get you hired. It's like, hey, listen, I have a guy.
It's usually how it happens.
Yeah, it's like, hey, do you know who Wings Hauser is? It's like, I can't get him, but I can get his son.
There we go, sold.
I can't believe he's Wings Hauser's son.
Yeah.
God, that is like
royal lineage.
I don't think
Hollywood royalty.
I don't really think that it's going to get any like I think we could end the show on that revelation.
It's not going to get the kind of attention that like the Batemans or Baldwin family. The Hauser.
Yeah,
legendary acting. Barrymore, these aren't the Hauser you don't put in there.
Wings and
Hollywood families.
This is my dad, Wings. My name's Cole.
Yeah.
Wings and Cole. The number 6 question I have here is best use of a song in the movie. Parker.
Oh man, I got 2. So
go ahead, because I get down that far.
I got No More Mr. Nice Guy from Alice Cooper, which I thought was perfect when they finally grabbed Mitch and they started hitting him with the paddles.
Definitely.
And then the second one was the end of the movie, Slow Ride. I thought was great because the kid finally like crawls into bed, he puts his headphones on, and I kind of feel like, he's, the whole night set himself up for like going into high school, whereas like the guys that he just hung out with, they're driving to go get Aerosmith tickets.
Top priority of the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are 2 great for sure, especially the Alice Cooper one, which was on my list, but I took it off because I figured somebody would have mentioned it because it's too iconic. It reminded me that Megadeth covered No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Dave was at the peak of his heroin when they shot the video. Yeah. That's why he's sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
He couldn't get up.
I remember that video so bad. And
that was the Shocker soundtrack,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Peter Berg was in that movie. And I always forget that Peter Berg turned out to be like one of the biggest directors on the planet.
Like a fucking huge director. It's insane. Yeah.
I just saw Patriots Day and it's so good.
Yeah.
How was that so? I had no idea it was going to be good. Like every time I see Mark Wahlberg's face, like it either actually even in a great movie it annoys me because it's just so dumb.
He's due to make something like good again.
Yeah.
Like he needs I'd love to see Tarantino do something with him or I don't know. Like,
but he still has a great.
He's good,
Yeah,
but
he did his thing.
I don't like Boogie Nights when he first came out. I'd love for him to like
or Fear. Fear is
Fear was great.
Fear is so underappreciated. Like, he was scary in Fear.
Yeah.
Like, horrifying because he was such an asshole.
Yeah.
But we digress.
Yes, we digress.
He wasn't in this movie.
He wasn't, or was he? So best use of a movie, Langan.
Man, this was tough to. I really got to say, there's a couple that I like to mention, but overall, the intro song of "Sweet Emotion," Aerosmith plays such a an important part because they're gonna go get the tickets and opening the film with "Sweet Emotion."
That bass
and
line.
that beautiful bass line.
Yeah.
And just
shout out to Tom Hamilton.
Perfect way of setting the table of this world that you're gonna visit for like two hours. You know what I mean? And it's brilliant. I love it. It's a perfect choice for the song. So that's my number one. But there's a couple of other things, like when Leonard Skinner, "Tuesday's Gone," when the party's over and they're pumping the last thing of the beer, and that that whiny guitar lick that comes in. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it just gives you because the film is starting to wrap up, the party's over, the keg is kicked, and it just works so good.
That's what I have. I picked "Tuesday's Gone" because it's probably my favorite Skynyrd song.
Yeah.
Like you said, the keg is tapped.
Right.
Like you see, like
it's a perfect metaphor.
Yeah, it's like, okay, beer's done. Benny tries to stand up and he can't.
That's right.
Melvin's leg is twitching and he drops a cup of beer. And then Wooderson is kicking it to Cynthia and he lights his cigarette or joint with his boot.
Yeah.
And then like he like reminds her about the Aerosmith tickets and smacks her on the ass like it's 1976. And what else? And then the other thing that happened during this scene, which I always thought was interesting, was Randy Pink Floyd asks Wooderson, he's like, where's Jody? And she's like, she left you, man. Yeah. And he's like, you win some, you lose some. And then Joey Lauren Adams, like, they had the weirdest relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was just, like, the whole time, he's, like, trying to, like, bang Jody.
Right.
But, like, that other girl's kind of just, like, waiting for him to be like, okay, listen, if you don't end up banging her, like, just...
I'm around.
Yeah, I'm around. Like, it doesn't matter. And there was a scene... Do you guys remember when Jody and Randy went to go make out in the woods?
Yep.
So it was weird because, like, why'd they go there? And if you look at the, like, kind of the end of the scene, it looks like she steals a joint from his shirt pocket. And that's when she stops making out with him. And she's like, hey, man, she's like, what are you doing? Where's Simone? Whatever. And then they leave. And then later on, like a couple of minutes after, like, that scene, her and the girl with the short hair was like, hey, let's go smoke that joint.
Oh, good catch, man.
Yeah.
There you go. That was great. Yeah.
Pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
So so for me, Tuesday's Gone.
I also liked at the Moon Tower party, the use of Dr. John's Right Place, Wrong Time, and Ted Nugent's Stranglehold.
Killer.
I would have loved to have been at that party.
Me too.
I like
that party looked like it got just like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of kids born from that party. I mean, I'm sure they used condoms.
They didn't have those in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure. Oh, maybe they pulled out. All right, so number 7, Parker. If you were going to pick a clique in this movie, what clique would you be hanging out with?
I'd probably the main two guys, or the main two guys, in my opinion, would be friggin' Randall, Pink Floyd, and Don, again, along with those dudes, you know?
Would they hang out with you, though?
Probably not, but that's where I would like to be. I'd probably have to fucking hang out with the fucking Tony, who I hate, but, you know.
You have to wear your finest overalls to get
you know? So, but if I could, I'd want fucking, like Don's, like, overall fucking, like, guy to fucking, like, hook me up with the set.
You'd got some Oshkosh, bro.
Yeah, you'd be the first guy wearing overalls with a fanny pack.
That's it, man.
76 style.
Plus, like, Don looks like he's like a drummer too, so like I could probably fucking hang out with that dude, you know?
Yeah, I think he does look like a drummer, actually.
Yeah.
Langan.
I'd be somewhere between the stoners and the nerds, because like a lot, you know, I did both those activities and stuff. We remember just hanging out with a bunch of my guy friends or whatever, having deep conversations and stuff like that on a given night, and that was as fun as going to some parties and stuff. But because like, you know, the stoner that definitely chill. Love to hang out with Pickford. Obviously, that
Yeah.
dude's the dude to hang out with. But like Slater, who's a great character or whatever, like that stoner cliche dude is like, even as I'm saying dude 8 million times, but that lazy stoner kind of stupid thing sometimes is like,
But
I don't want to be around it.
It wasn't played out in '93.
No, it works in the film, but
Yeah.
I don't like.
Yeah.
I can only take so much of that shit.
We had geography together, man.
Yeah.
I remember you, man.
Yeah.
For me, definitely hanging out with Pickford and Slater, because I think they were kind of like in the same clique, really.
Definitely.
They just, they were on the fringe. They were just hanging out. He was selling weed. He was banging Mila Jovovich.
I had it going on.
Yeah,
You
completely. And on the internet, he was supposed to have a bigger role, but he was having issues with Jason London. And so I guess their characters actually got into a fight in real life.
Really?
Yes. And so this dude, his girlfriend is Mila in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up getting married. And he was 21, she was 16, and her parents had it annulled. Like, it was just like chaos.
It's like the spirit of the film.
Yeah, I guess so. I think in a way he was probably like, fuck it, like I don't even want a big role in this. I'm just gonna hang out with this girl. And I feel like they probably just dipped out like a lot of the movie and
wow,
just did their whole thing. Because like at the end of the movie, it was supposed to be him sitting in the back seat smoking weed with Randy.
Wow.
And they were like, nah.
What was the beef? Do you know? Like,
I don't know.
Just didn't get along, I guess.
I have no
Wow.
idea. The internet doesn't say, but I thought that was an
Maybe he wanted to marry fucking Jovovich, you know?
At 16,
Yeah,
I don't know.
blame
Probably not. He was probably just beating him up because he was like a pedo.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, bro, she's 16 and you're 21. He's like, fuck you, Randy Pink Floyd.
It's method acting, man.
It's method acting. Yeah, and she had a career in music. I remember like after that movie, because that movie was a big deal. And I remember watching, she had like a black and white video I remember on MTV.
Sure.
And there was like a tarantula in the video, which I thought was interesting. And then from
she did The Fifth Element.
Yes.
And the Resident Evil movies.
So
that I don't care for, but still a good career.
Yeah, it's like that Resident Evil thing lives on like what is that car movie? Fast and the Furious?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Like these movies have a franchise, like she's set. Like
Yeah.
And Cole Hauser was in the second Fast and the Furious, so there you go.
Is that Tokyo Drift?
No, that was the third one, I think. The second one he got to hang out with friggin' Eva Menendez, another hot chick. So there you go.
Eva Mendes?
When are we doing Red River Presents Fast and the Furious deep dive?
Oh God, Jesus!
I think we're building up to it.
Will Ron and Gore talk about that? They got you.
All right, so number 8 is fun. Best peripheral character, which is basically somebody who doesn't really have a big scene or a big part of the movie, but they're always there in the background. Or maybe they only have one scene. So, Parker, who would that be for you?
I did somebody that just had one scene, and he just seems like such an asshole, and he kind of reminds me of my own father, like some shit that he would have did. So I had to go with fucking Pickford's dad.
Okay.
Like that whole scene with the fucking kid. Like that whole scene is my father. Like if I had a fucking party and he was gonna find out that it was like he would not go out, and he would make sure that he would fucking answer the door and fucking hassle anybody that fucking came there.
Wow.
That is funny. Like when everyone was knocking on the door, like you see those dudes like hop over the bush and they start, they're like, oh, you just knocked, let me take a hit of this bong real quick. Who the fuck does that?
Did you guys, when your parents went away, ever have like a big ass party at your house at that age?
Oh yeah.
Me too.
I would have people over, or my house. My house was a home base.
Not the one time, but the biggest party I had, and I got caught because one of my friends threw up in the bathroom, and he didn't get it in the toilet. He threw up around on the rug.
Oh.
We had a rug in there at the time, because you had that back then.
Yeah.
And I put the rug through the washing machine and cleaned it up. And my mother came home and was like, "Why the hell did you wash anything? Like, what the fuck did you do?" Because if I left it,
it's a valid question.
Like, you wouldn't clean up anything on your own, so you obviously fucked up and did something, and that was it. I got busted.
Funny story. So Brian Casal, who is my bass player Dave's brother, like that's who I grew up with. I grew up with Brian, and my house was a home base, and my mom's boyfriend had like a car that he didn't use on the side of the house. So sometimes we would sit in it because it was on the side of the house, and we would hang out the side of the house, like whatever. And one day Brian got so wasted, I just remember him sitting in the back seat and turning sideways and puking all the way down that back seat. And we were just like, what the fuck? And because he was wasted. And for some reason, I don't even know why. Like, you know, we do stuff and I can't really figure out why today, but we never cleaned it up. We just let it sit there.
Oh.
Oof.
I don't know
That's
why.
rough.
And it was just like long from like top of the seat to the bottom, like brown, like fucking like 5-inch thick
Crust.
like crust. And when my mom's boyfriend sold the car, she was just like, "What the fuck is in this back seat?"
Oh man!
And I told him, I was just like, "Why did we? But why? Like he puked and we were just so terrible that, or so like we didn't care. We were like, oh, we'll just leave it there. Like it would have taken 2 seconds to clean it. So shout out to Brian Cassell.
Yeah.
Definitely always trolling the Facebook group.
Shout out to Mr. Pickford snazzy leisure suit too.
Oh
Yeah,
He
shit's
rocked that
hot. I
thing.
love it.
Sideburns. That dude had the
Yeah, man.
70s dad down.
We're not going anywhere.
I like the Pickford like jams like a fucking like ice pick into the door too as the lock.
Yeah.
when they're knocking and like it takes forever.
Yeah.
Spraying things.
and like
you know.
like Slater was like kind of feeling like he got gypped, so he's still weighing the bag to see if he got like he's like, I don't know if this bag weighs enough.
I'm surprised he didn't go with the wet towel by the bottom of the door.
Yeah.
And blowing smoke through a
Snaggle.
toilet paper dispenser with fabric softener on the end of it.
We used to do
surprised
that.
There you go.
used. Everybody did it. And guess what? Didn't do shit.
It kind of did.
It didn't really, man.
I don't know why
There's
we
no
called it.
mistaking what's going on when you walk into a room after that.
Maybe
now
if you're
know.
sitting in there, I forgot about that. The fabrics.
I think about when I used to come home and like shout across the room to my mom, like, "Hey, I'm in for tonight." Like I smelled probably horrible.
Yeah.
Like denying that.
Yeah.
You know, but
I'd come home tripping out, but
Kids.
we would use that in my friend Bob's basement. And we were like, oh, my God. So we would just blow the smoke. We would pass the joint, and then we'd pass the fucking roll of toilet paper around, and we'd just blow. Like, oh, yeah, no one knows.
Nah.
Especially since his parents smoked weed.
Foolproof.
How would they, like, they were probably thinking, like, why does it smell like weed downstairs?
I know, please.
All right, so best peripheral?
I got a couple here. I got a shout out.
Peripheral?
We shouted out Carl's mom earlier. Miss Ginny Stroud, the teacher, for her little scene. Just a foxy 70s
Great
teacher
scene.
there. Just
Yeah.
awesome. Got to shout out Hirschfelder because he was at that dance and getting play.
Yeah.
And his friends come in. He should have been like, yo, bounce.
Shout out to Nazareth. Love hurts.
Yeah.
Nice.
But he was
arguably getting with the hottest girl in the movie.
dude, for real. And he's the little chubby kid. He's getting his groove on, and his herb ass friends come in there.
No.
Like, who aren't getting shit done.
Hey,
and then they're clowning him outside the place when he should have been like, yo.
I was getting
What,
there.
are you serious?
Yeah. He's like, son, you wouldn't know what to do with it even if you had gotten there, so don't worry about
That kid's
it.
such a tool bag.
He was such a
So
tool.
shout out to Hirschfelder. And I gotta shout out Clint, too, because
Nicky Cat, baby. Nicky Cat's the man.
Growing up in Manatuck and Cutchogue on the country end of Long Island.
He was there?
There were so many Clints. It was 60% Clint, I think, if you look at the statistics of that, of when I grew up out there.
The
but
graphic.
Dudes that were way into their car, had a shitty attitude, just lived to pick fights at parties for dumbass shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Like, that guy takes me right back. Like,
What kind of a...
I had a Clint.
Yeah.
I remember in my school, and we decided to befriend the Clint, though. And he would, like, protect us because we're like, listen, we don't like hanging out with this guy. But we think it would be beneficial to keep us protected, and we'll just deal with a couple of times buying him a 12-pack here and there.
Yeah.
You know
There you go.
So, but yeah.
Later in life, that guy is such a geek. He's such a herb. Like he's been in so many good movies.
Oh yeah.
He was in Planet Terror, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah,
that's right.
And
forgot that.
Yeah, and he was also in a movie that I mentioned a lot the last few episodes is Way of the Gun. He was one of the gunmen for James Caan, along with Taye Diggs. Shout out to Taye Diggs.
Yo,
man.
Taye Diggs from fucking Go fame right there.
Yep. So I got one, and you could argue and say he's one of the main characters, but not really. But it's Melvin. So I think that Melvin is like, he's another guy. I don't think he did anything else. He did like one other movie, but I don't think I don't think he was an actor.
That's surprising because he was good.
He was great in it.
Yeah.
And he was like everyone's best friend. Like he was like when they rolled up to the guys in the school to like paddle them.
Yeah.
And I forgot what Benny says, but like he looks over and Melvin's like, "How's it going, boys?" Like he just says it in such a nice way.
You know what's good about him, as opposed to Benny and O'Banion and stuff. Like he could take or leave the paddling.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't have to paddle this kid, or I do. Or when he gives the paddle to Randall, and
he knew.
He's just like, like O'Banion wouldn't play that shit. Like, no, you're taking my paddle. You're gonna spank this little boy's ass.
Yeah,
like excited about it, but
that's
he
what
could
it was.
take it or leave it. Like,
during that scene, he was just like,
he's like, I guess this is what we do. Yeah, whatever.
He's like,
yeah, don't.
And then he sends Randy Pink Floyd out. I mean, he sends Mitch out to go get him a six-pack. And then he's playing pool, beats the guy in pool, and still gives away his whole six-pack.
Yep.
I don't know if you noticed that. Like, he brings him back 6 beers, and he gives everyone his own beer after winning the game, too.
I felt he underappreciated.
And I think he lets fucking Mitch Kramer keep the change from the 6-pack, too.
Yes, he does.
That's a fucking good guy right there.
I was going to say, I thought he underappreciated the dress. Like he sent the kid out for beers, came back with him. He easily could have got denied. I thought he was very underappreciated.
That's true, too.
But I didn't catch keeping the change, though. That's a big move.
Yeah, he's like, just keep it and keep the, like, but then again, like, who knows? Maybe they were all racist and he was just trying to keep them all in check.
I love that. Actually, I love the conversation Mitch has with the store owner.
The store owner who's mad greasy, and that's that's it. I thought it was like William Hickey from
William Hickey.
It was like William Hickey's like brother. So that's in one of my favorite scenes, but I'll go into it now. So, if you notice when Wooderson does his high school football, his that's what I like about high school football. High school women,
right?
They get, I get older. They stay the same age. Before he gets into that, he's talking about how he's working for the city, how he's going to keep some change in his pocket, and then the next scene, Mitch does that same speech to the fucking store owner. He's like, "You're of age." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I work for the city." Yeah. He's like, "But I'm thinking of going back to school." Everything Wooderson said. He's like, keep a little change in my pocket. And he's like, "Here's a little more change for your pocket." And he's just like, just so. But that's the brilliance of the movie. It's so subtle, but the things that you pick up are just like, it's just so cool. Yeah. Every time you watch it, like I didn't know that until I watched it again. I'm like, he gave that same fucking speech. Yeah. He listened to Wooderson, and then he bought beer with that same fucking shit. So.
And I do love the fucking person that's buying beer before Mitch is a pregnant woman that's buying alcohol and smoking a cigarette in the store.
Yeah, in her defense, it was before Google.
And what was the advice the guy gave him?
Huh?
What advice did this?
Always eat a green thing. Remember to eat a green thing.
Why was he so greasy?
But people,
I don't know.
People rolled like that when they were pregnant. And my mom tells stories of she didn't smoke when she was pregnant with me, but my brother and sister. But,
I guarantee you, my mother smoked when she was pregnant with me.
She used to put the ashtray on her belly, and like when the baby would kick, you know, would shake the fucking ashtray around.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It
was a simpler.
Shout out to Mary Jane.
Simpler time.
There you go.
Do you guys know also? Supposedly, like the Gene Simmons like the Kiss statues that he bought them.
Yeah, he bought them from this movie, and then he held on to them for a couple years, and then I guess there was like a Kiss, like an auction or something.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the fucking guy turns around and sells them for fucking $6,000 to a Kiss fan.
That's what it was.
He's got a sixth. He can smell when a Kiss fan gets like, their check gets direct deposited or something.
Yeah.
It's like a spider sense that goes off. He's like, there's money out there from Kiss fans that I haven't taken yet.
It's unreal.
I need to act on this. And side note too, with those statues, if people didn't see the deleted scenes, they got hijacked because the bicentennial was happening that year in America, 1976. And they were statues for the bicentennial celebration or whatever. So they stole those statues and then painted the Kiss faces on it. But they cut that little part out of them stealing the statues.
There you go.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the deleted scenes are fun.
Yep.
Okay, so getting towards the end here, number 9. Parker, to you, what do you think makes a movie like this, what do you think makes this movie timeless?
I think that it was kind of like what you said, like in the beginning, like it's one of those movies that it doesn't matter what point the movie's in, like beginning, middle, or end. Like I could just sit down and watch it, just to fucking watch it for the 1000th time. And, it's, in my mind, it definitely is like the perfect like summer movie. I mean, I can watch it any time of the year, but I mostly do watch this around summertime. And it's just like you don't need to pay attention, or you don't really need to think. It's just like a simple, relaxed movie. That's kind of what I enjoy about it. Like you don't need to fucking be watching it constantly to know what the hell's going on.
Did you guys ever watch the kind of sequel, Everybody Wants Some?
Yeah, I liked it. It's not as good.
Yeah, I didn't.
But it's definitely not as good.
Yeah,
but it was entertaining enough to watch.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it. It just really failed with me.
I kind of didn't view it as any relationship to this film.
Yeah,
and it kind of, because it's not even close to being as good.
It's
just viewed on its own.
Yeah,
it's like a little bit of a watered down film where the characters I don't feel like connect with you as much as the ones in this particular film.
Hard to do,
but it's an okay movie.
I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Yeah.
The only other movie that this guy did that I really kind of did like was that Suburbia movie with Giovanni Ribisi and Nicky Cat. Funny enough, he's in that too.
Oh, okay.
He did Slacker too, right?
Yeah.
And
Suburbia, similar to this, but it's just like it's the same simple thing. It's just like a bunch of like friends hang out at like a convenience store, and Nicky Cat pretty much plays the same fucking asshole character, and it's just everybody that they don't know what they want to do with their life, so they hang out in the fucking convenience store parking lot.
No, he writes like ordinary events like well, like average things, not like huge some explosions jumping. He's not like some Michael Bay kind of guy,
Yeah, shout out to Platinum Doom.
he looks at like the simple things of hanging out at a 7-Eleven parking lot with your friends.
Yep.
And he can break that down into something greater, and that's kind of his genius.
Is that what makes this timeless?
Yeah. That's almost exactly. It just it takes, whenever I watch it, it triggers a memory in my head of a night I had like that.
Yeah,
or things that are buried back in my head now that aren't at the forefront, but seeing something like this brings it out, and it's kind of like jumping ahead because I know what the favorite scenes and stuff. But the scene where Mitch gets home and sneaks into his house.
I'm literally right there as well.
And he lays down on the bed and he puts those headphones on with a smile on his face and thinking about like what an amazing night he had.
Amazing night, yeah.
And that's the kind of night he's going to remember his whole life, just like I had ones like that.
Yeah.
And that's why that scene strikes me, but it's also why.
Only you banged her and he didn't. No way in hell he did. A lot of making out. That's all I saw.
That was enough then, though.
Yeah.
At that age.
I guess he was
somewhat,
no knuckles being dunked.
He was playing with house money,
Yeah.
He was a total herb.
True.
Then his whole life changed just because a couple paddle spanks.
Yeah. So what are you saying? He's very grateful, is what you're saying.
He's grateful at anything at that point.
He probably he checked.
It's
her
all
oil.
gravy, bro.
He checked her oil at the very least.
He definitely rubbed one out as soon as his mom went to bed.
Yeah, totally. I hope he changed the song though. I can't imagine beating off the Slow Ride. Yeah, I mean, whatever. You guys said everything as far as what makes Timeless. I agree. So the last question before we go to our favorite scenes and quotes, who do you think would be a good spin-off movie or show, Parker?
I'm gonna fucking go with Don again for this.
Okay, statutory. Right?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Oz, like an Oz type situation.
Yeah.
I like to see him like go into his closet and there's just like 20 pairs of overalls hanging.
Yeah.
The best part is it's not even like clean overalls. He's got like paint fucking spilled on it and shit. Like he doesn't. It's the fucking last day of school. He doesn't fucking care.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. So Don, for you, Langan.
I'm torn between Wooderson and O'Banion. I would love to know Wooderson just because he's so interesting. That definitely whatever made him that way. I'd love to know. And O'Banion, what happened to that guy?
He left with a lot of paint, very angry.
He had a lot of
humiliated.
baggage as a follow up, but also I'd love to know how he became so awful.
Oh, so like a prequel?
Either one, an origin
A
story.
fucking prequel.
The origin story, like Wolverine, some shit. You know what I'm
How
saying?
did O'Banion go to?
What
flunk
led him down this dark path, and then what happened after? He definitely ended up. He stayed in that town
Yeah,
for sure.
he became the Golden State
Definitely alcoholic.
Killer. Totally.
He probably became like
Horrible
the
job.
sheriff. He became like a sheriff or something there.
I don't.
You know?
I don't think so. I think he went down a worse path, like alone in an old man bar,
became
like alcohol
I know.
problem. You know what I mean?
Security guard.
Like the redheaded guy. That guy became like a cop.
Fucking Cole Hauser.
Yeah.
yeah,
He
yeah.
became. And then when you know his political, like he became a cop.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
O'Banion ended up alone in an old man bar. That's just me though.
Married to a fat chick that he divorced him. For me, it's definitely Wooderson. And I would go for something like Wooderson Loves Cynthia because I want to know like the romantic comedy that
Yeah.
you know, because she seemed like she was very much. And let me tell you something. Back then, I thought the girl with the short hair that didn't talk too much.
The one that talked about Gilligan's Island in the bathroom.
I thought she
fine.
was. I thought she was the hottest one back then.
So hot. So hot.
Joey Lauren Adams, same thing.
I'm a Parker Posey man. I'm a little biased there. But
How did Joey Lauren Adams get more acting roles is beyond me because she's so terrible in everything she's ever
pretty
been in.
bad.
She's so bad. But now when I watch this movie in like the last like 10, 15 years, I realize that all those girls are so thin, and I am just not really into thin women.
Mhm.
So my new thing is Cynthia. Like when I look at her, I'm thinking like, you know what?
Oh, the hair though.
That
hair though.
I don't care, man. I'll take that red afro because she's thick. She's thick.
That hair was creeping up like her hairline was starting like at the top of her head, the pinnacle of her head.
You know whose twin sister that is?
Giovanni
Ribisi's twin sister, and whose wife?
So great.
Whose ex-wife it is?
I'd probably smash him first.
Yeah. She's married to Beck, but they just got divorced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Marissa Ribisi Hansen.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're all Scientologists.
Did she go on to anything?
I don't know. I think the Scientology crew all kind of just stay in that. Like I don't know. It's bizarre.
It's a fascinating
Yo, I just finished that fucking Leah Remini fucking show on Hulu or whatever.
Yep.
And the last, the season or the series finale, I guess they brought up the guy from For Women, Danny, what is that? Danny Masterson? Is that his fucking guy's name?
Yep.
And then as I'm saying this, Sarah comes into the room and she's just like, "Oh yeah, I heard that like he lived next to the dude from Mars Volta, and like and literally as she's saying this, they go to the fucking guy from Mars Volta and they're fucking interviewing him, and
killed his
I
dog
guess
or something.
Yeah, they fucking threw like rat poison over the fucking thing, and I was like, dude, these fucking people are fucking crazy.
Not to go off topic either, sorry to interrupt, but if you haven't seen Going Clear documentary, check that out next, Brian.
Yes, Cedric would go on Instagram, and that's where I was just like, oh my god, this guy's like out of his mind. But he would like in the last year and a half, the dude from At the Drive-In, Cedric, he would basically talk about all the situations, all the harassment he was getting. So he would post it all on his Instagram.
Yeah, wow. But it's fucking crazy. That whole fucking, I don't get it, man. It's fucking insane.
All right, so that brings us to, let's talk about our favorite scenes and quotes, whether you have 1, 2, 3, whatever. So Parker?
Oh man, favorite scenes. All right, so I mentioned it already, but it definitely fucking deserves to get mentioned again. Fucking Melvin dancing in the bed of the truck. I fucking love that. And then the keg delivery, even though it does go away, I love that whole fucking scene where Pickford tries to fucking, tell the guy how he's at the wrong house because, he could tell that the father's standing right behind him.
Wrong, Mr. Pickford.
Yeah, wrong, Mr. Pickford altogether.
Sorry, these things happen.
But then my favorite scene involves fucking dickhead fucking Cole Hauser when he locks friggin' Pink in the truck, and he pretty much just like, drills him about, like not wanting to, play football, and he's not going to sign the fucking thing for the coach, and just pretty much screams at the guy for like 5 minutes, and then just, ends it with like, I think like, have a great fucking night, with like a smile, and like slams the door on the guy.
He definitely is a cop.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He turned into a cop for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. You don't have any specific quotes that you liked or not?
Quote wise, where the fuck am I with the quotes? I have 3 from 3 different characters. So going back to Carl's mom's house, I love it when Ben Affleck is trying to, or O'Banion, when he's trying to talk his way out of it, and he goes, I was just walking them home because there were some ruffians about. Like, that still fucking cracks me up.
So fucking funny.
Yeah. Another one was by Darla, and when she goes, what is it? What are you looking at? What is it? Wipe that. I don't want to fuck it up. It's like wipe that face off your head, bitch, or something.
Yeah. Wipe that face off your head.
It is from fucking Mike. Mike was another great character too. Who that actor, fucking Adam Goldberg. I fucking love him. He was in fucking Hebrew Hammer. When he does the fucking dominant male monkey motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's my all-time favorite fucking line.
Yep, and when I first started watching the Goldbergs, they said Adam Goldberg was the guy. That's who I thought he did it. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I like the reoccurring thing on the Goldbergs where he talks about Adam F. Goldberg talks about the other Adam Goldberg, and it's pretty funny. So, Langan, favorite quotes and scenes?
I got a few here. Bear with me.
We might have to take a break in the meantime. Actually, you know what? Let's take a break before you start that.
Yep.
All right. So hang on, Parker.
Okay.
I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. I'd have said the right thing, but it must have used the wrong line. I've been on the right trip, but I must have used the wrong car. Head is in a bad place, and I wonder what's good for. I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. My head is in a bad place.
All right, so you know what? Just list a scene and a quote, and I'll do the same, and then we'll go until we're done.
I love when I don't have the whole speech, nor will I try to repeat it, but when Wooderson's kicking it to Cynthia about the Moon Tower party and asking her to get in this car.
Yep.
That whole rap.
That's my number one.
Is it?
That's my number one scene.
It's so great.
It's my number one scene because it's the ultimate alpha male chumping
confidence, just exude. Like, how could you say no to this offer? Like,
and that was the first scene they shot.
Was it?
So the first scene he ever did as an actor was that scene. So he talked about it on the Stern Show, and so he said he was psyching himself out. He was like nervous, and he was listening to the Live Doors album. And Jim Morrison goes, all right. And then so he was just like, all right, I need to like get into this. This is like my first acting thing whatsoever. So when the car rolls up, the first thing he says, he's just like, what would Jim Morrison say? He's like, I'm Wooderson. He's like, I'm about cars. I'm about smoking weed. I'm about girls. And so he pulls up, and the first thing he says is, all right. And then he's just looking at her, and she's so vanilla.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's just like so enamored by her. And he's kicking it to her like those two no hello to the other guys.
Nah.
He was just like, he does everything to her, and then he looks at her. He's like, so you need a ride? Like, just the ultimate, like, just, I don't know. It just like, he verbally mushed their face.
Swagger, man.
Yeah.
Just deep swagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the ultimate chumping, and I love it. He's just like, you had to ditch the 2 geeks you're in the car with, but we'll worry about that later. No, I don't know, just like you said, confidence, and I'm like, he steals the scene.
He just spits it out, man. And while we're on it, you got a joint.
Yeah,
be a lot cooler if you did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the lines that just stupid memorable. You know.
Was that actually the first time he was in? Right.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So that, as far as the movie goes, that is the first time you see him. And like, how many times did you quote that?
Oh my God.
Like so many. It's like, hey man, you got a joint? No man, not on me.
I love that line.
Cooler if you did. Like, what the fuck? Like, who writes shit like that? It's so ridiculous. So, all right, what else?
For quotes?
I mean, quotes and scenes, whatever.
I love the quote with Cynthia talking about the 50s being boring, the 60s rocked, the 70s suck, she says, and the 80s, promise to the 80s being radical or whatnot. But it shows you too, like, here we are as viewers watching a nostalgic film about the 70s, and she's in it, thinks it sucks, makes you think about like the times you live in. You always think, isn't that great? But like, looking back, it looked fantastic.
Everything.
What I mean?
Yeah.
So
I love that. For me, a quote that I love, and it's so stupid, is when the assistant coach sees like them rolling up, he's just like, "Hey man," he's like, Don't go around getting soft on me, laying around the pool, chasing the muff around." And he's just like, and then he like, what does he do? He does like a quick like move, and everyone
he asks them to set to get in their position.
He's like, hell man, he's like, my grandmother's faster and quicker than you guys.
Of course, she's 6'5".
Yeah, 230 pounds. And Benny's like, I don't know, coach. He's like, whatever he said. I mean, that whole scene is just so fucking great. I love that. That's definitely on my quote list.
Slater also asking, "Are you cool, man?"
Like how? And like you could see like Randy's face is like, "Oh God, I gotta fucking hang out with this fucking Herb and explain to." He's like, he was asking if you get high. He's like, "Oh, like smoke pot?" He's like, "Yeah, like smoke pot," which is like great.
He's teaching him, he's showing him the world.
He's like, "I'm trying to bang this guy's sister, and like now I gotta hang out with him." I mean, that's kind of what he was doing. Just like he was hanging out with Mitch to like get closer to his sister. I think.
Sure. No question. And then and favorite scenes, I got it staying on Wooderson when he enters the Emporium for the first time. Again, the swagger.
Like a Viking.
Owning the
Yeah.
Like, look at my, what am I going to do tonight? What am I going to get up to,
That is the most confident walk I've ever seen a man in Uggs do. I'm pretty sure he was wearing Uggs. I don't know what the fuck. And he was wearing like tight pink pants.
Tight as fuck.
Yeah.
As was the style.
Yeah. I mean,
Carl had some ridiculous pants too. That black and white stripe ensemble.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous.
I mean, listen, Wooderson would still fuck your girlfriend, so watch out. Another scene that I really love is when Randy and Slater pull up to Pickford's house, and his parents are packing up the car, and he's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Is what the fuck's Pickford's?"
Is Kevin?
Oh, Kevin
going? Yeah.
Kevin, I was like, he's upstairs. He's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" He's like, "Oh, we're going to go for a trip." He's like, "Oh, really? Is Kevin going with you?" He's like, "Nah, he's staying." He's like, "Oh, all right."
They're selling it.
Yeah, and then like Slater's like, "Got my report card back." And like, "Oh, really?"
Straight A's.
Straight A's. It was just so stupid and subtle, but everything about that exchange was so... And he like almost trips over like their grass.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep. I also got to shout out the scene with the trash can mailbox baseball.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you ever did that as a youth.
I didn't do that because I don't know. That seemed... I don't know. I mean,
I remember going with my friends once, but everyone was
shit.
where it was. Because the bat hitting the mailbox with the car moving, you're in a lot of danger of the bat kicking back and hitting the car.
Yeah.
So they would actually get out of the car and stand there, and tee it off.
Yeah.
It's more of a challenge that way. But more importantly about that scene, it's when Mitch, and this is again why Mitch used to be like not my favorite character, but then when watching it last night, it changed. Like when he's in the back seat watching these dudes be bad and discovering like how fun it is to let yourself do some bad shit, and he gets this smile on his face, and he eventually throws that bowling ball through
He threw that bowling ball,
which he knows is fucked up, but also won him crazy points.
Yeah.
Like, this kid's all right, you know what I mean? And then they have the altercation with the man with the with the gun, pulling the gun on them and driving away, and then you see Pickford at the Emporium. Like, you don't hear the audio, but him relaying the story to McConaughey with passion and stuff. And that little adventure, again, takes you back to those shit that you did when in your youth, that you remember these crazy stories that happened, it becomes lore of your own,
That's it, man. That scene was great. I guess you could do it out in Mattatuck, man. Those I feel like we live too close to each other. Like if I knocked over somebody's mailbox, I would have to drive to like another town. Like you guys were a little bit more spread out.
We were way hillbilly out there, man.
Another one, and I love this, is that watch them fly away. Like they're all sitting there, and like it was just like the most ridiculous thing where like I guess Mila is singing that song, and Slater, and I mentioned this before. I said this is like, it sounds like a Joe Rogan podcast episode, where it's just like, he's like, that song's about aliens, and the guy turns around on top of the hood. He's like, is that what that song's about, man? And he's like, yeah, that's what that song's about. Like everyone's like, what are you, stupid? Of course. It's like, we're the aliens, man. We're the like it's just so stupid, yet so brilliant. And he goes into that speech about like George Washington growing weed, and Martha was a hip lady, and
she had a hit for him every time he came home. My God.
That fucking scene rules. What else you got?
Just the last thing I had, I already mentioned before, the scene with Mitch sneaking into his house.
Okay.
And puts those headphones on. And how cool was his mom too?
Oh, his mom's
like,
cool.
I busted you. I was waiting up.
Yeah.
But
gave him the free pass.
Got the free pass. Knows he had a great night. Got home safe. Smells the beer. Obviously, the kid probably stank. Like, are you drinking? No. But let it go.
Yeah, let it go.
Here's your free pass. But I love that whole scenario.
I got two. So my last two are definitely someone's toking some reefer. Yo, why was Clint so angry? Like, I thought he was smoking weed.
Yeah, he was high. I know.
No, but I'm saying, like
that's how what a shitty person he was. That like he couldn't even get high right.
He couldn't get high right. Yeah. Like usually people are like, you're like Slater, and like this dude's just like, hey man. He's like, like I like his friends around him. Like told him, like, you hear what this guy said? They like gassing him up because they're like, oh, let's rile Clint up to beat up this little fucking Jewish guy with the afro, or like he had like a mullet.
Well, that's what those guys did.
Yeah.
That's who they did pick fights with. And think about back in the day when you'd have a party, right? And then right now, we're talking about the MMA fight we're going to watch tonight or something. But if you were hanging at one of these parties, you would hope that somebody would get into some shit because you had this live entertainment.
Yeah.
And everybody reverts to their animal nature and makes a circle around it. Like,
well, if you saw, like, when the fight happened, like, Benny pushed people away.
Yeah.
He was just like, let them fucking fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was so funny because they were just like, let's rile Clint up. And he's like, hey, man, what'd you say? What do you mean? He's like, did you say someone's toking some reefer? He's like, oh, yeah, I just said I noticed, I observed someone who's like, he was just like fucking totally being such a dick. Yeah. And it's so great that he just, like, what the fuck? And like, I came here to drink some beer and kick some ass. Yeah. But like every time I watch that, because I'm thinking like, that's what a beer drinker does.
Yes.
Like, for sure. Like, he must not have been smoking weed. No. Must have been for like hippies. Like, you hippies smoke.
He got angrily drunk. He wasn't getting any girls. Yeah. So what's his logical decision on what I have to do next is I have to like pick a fight.
I got to beat.
That's where I have to go.
And the last thing I have is I really love the speech at the end, like on the football field, where Wooderson's talking to Randy, you got to do what Randy Pink Floyd wants to do, you know? And he's giving him this advice on what seems to be like a big deal, but I'm thinking like, holy shit, this is like you either play football or you don't. Like it just seems, for like high school, it just seems like such a silly thing.
You get the impression though that he's some star quarterback.
Yeah.
Like him coming to this team is gonna like make or break it,
according to Benny.
And if he came up, say in Texas football, where it's like religion.
Remember when that old guy grabbed his arm?
Yeah,
he's like, "This arm ready to
13
throw."
returning letterman.
Looking good.
But like the Texas, that football. So like, I pictured this kid that been playing football since he was 8 years old. And now he's a star quarterback. Yeah. And now you're expecting him. He's going to go to a college and be like, this whole narrative is playing out. And he's finally going through that point in his life. It's like, well, what if I don't want to do that really anymore? And he's hitting that crisis, you know? And that letter represents all that. Well, he could have just signed it and like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Like the other guys did.
Yeah.
not Benny.
Benny, Don, and Mel.
Yeah, someone like, just sign it, man. Just,
Yeah.
Whatever, but not to him.
And then, he gives him that advice. I just like, he's like, I always quoted it just because it's so funny. He's like, you got to do what Randy Pink Floyd wants to do. Livin.
Keep on living.
Yeah. He left that G off for sure. That's it, man. So that this wraps up the Dazed and Confused episode. It's a movie that we'll continue to watch. And I don't know. Anything else you want to add, Parker?
No, man. I think we fucking hit everything.
All right. Well, just remember, Quentin Tarantino said it's one of the best films of ever made. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
I didn't.
He
know
said
that.
it in 2002.
I agree with him, but yeah, might be in my top 5.
It's in my top
It's
10.
definitely top 10.
Yeah.
Top 5, quite possibly. I'd have to think about it.
But then again, sometimes like I break down movies where it's like some movies are like cinematic, like we were talking about Tarantino, like Inglourious Bastards is a masterpiece film.
Sure.
But I'd rather watch Kill Bill over and over again. So to me, it's like, yeah, I'm like, it should be top 10 overall. But yeah, I mean, he just made something so subtle and so under the radar with no explosions, no nudity.
But that's good writing, good acting. That's
cast.
That's the foundation of the house.
Yeah.
It ain't explosions. It ain't cars.
No penetration.
Although I also have to say, now I don't know shit about cars except how to turn one on, turn on the radio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But man, they had some beautiful rides in this movie.
Yeah.
Some kick-ass American muscle cars.
And he made all of them a mixtape too. So he gave all the characters like a personal mixtape to get them into like the vibe.
The cars almost had character to who was driving them too. The kind of cars.
Except Melba, because it had pizza cutters.
But yeah, some beautiful rides in that movie, man.
Yeah.
All right, I love when McConaughey's talking about his car too. I couldn't reiterate what he's saying when he's explaining to Clint about
that's
what's under the hood
in
this way that
and Clint's
that's smooth
like,
as shit.
No
too.
way, I saw this next to the sea monkeys or something. He's like, you got to get tires on this, man. You got pizza cutters.
Yep.
All right, cool. So rock and roll, and I guess I don't know. Maybe we'll do this again with another movie.
Yeah,
like.
It was fun to revisit, man.
Like Clueless or Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
And if anybody's interested too, like I was mentioning, deleted scenes, and I watched the Criterion DVD, but like there's a great 50 minutes making of.
Yeah,
that's
it's
available.
up on YouTube.
They're all on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in any of that, check out YouTube because they got all those special features up there.
That's right, man. Respect the cloud. Respect the cloud. All right. Later.
Later, man.
Later, guys.
Dark Satellite Media.